can get that line of sight, if you can control the high ground to the side, that's going to be your best bet. And he will continue to use this. Meanwhile, Dynasty is using Fitz on Sombra with the Moira variation here. We'll run over to the Zarya now. And now if Decay can control that high ground during this hero swap, this is massive.
A really aggressive forward push here from the Gladiators. Unable to get into... Ready to unlock in 5 seconds. Dynasty regrouped, pushing up the side as well. We'll see some swaps coming through. Shaking things up. Biggoose is there to taxi Decay back over to the point. So the initial cap going to be given to the Dynasty.
They want to match the Zarya here. It's going to cost them the point. It's going to cost them a lot of ult charge.
They're just going to be zapping out for now. Decay pushing his way forward, lobbing in those right clicks, trying to get some damage in. Fitz nearly going down, trying to stay alive, but Fisher going to get stunned up and he'll get taken out. Decay managing to find the kill. Void, however, going to be popped out of the mech at the same time. So a bit of an exchange on the tank line, but now Roar as well going to be eliminated. Void manages to pistol his way back into the mech. Nearly getting the flip here are the Gladiators, but unable to do it. Seoul Dynasty is still going to be ticking up now, exceeding 30%. Shaz has that Transcendence online, instantly going to be popping that one. Jaehong waiting patiently, spamming away with the left clicks, trying to find a pick before he has to use it. The grab's going to be coming through. Doesn't have to use it yet. The kills are going to be coming in, and Fisher gets a 2-for-1 special on the melee hit. Biggoose and K both going to be taken down. Munchkin the only one. The Gladiators are able to trade back, so the Dynasty maintain control.
I think when you take the gamble of running the McCree and you swap it late like this, you're always going to run the risk of losing control of the point, losing that first Graviton surge. Transcendence was forced early in the fight, so Fitz knew that his Graviton was going to be massive because there was no mitigating healing. And now Seoul Dynasty still has even ultimates, in fact a slight lead in ultimates with both support ults here. So flipping this point with the Graviton for Decay like they want to is not going to be easy.
Drops back down, goes in straight onto Shaz. Now the Primal Rage going to be coming through. Sound barriers out from the Gladiators as they try to sustain through this and try to get that flip coming back in, but Jexay's got the Sound Barrier himself to go ahead and match. Grab's going to be coming in. Decay locking him up, looking for the kill. Transcendence is out from Jaehong, and Michelle's got the bomb. Decay and Biggoose both get taken out, and Seoul Dynasty will maintain control, and they might just take this 100-0.
With the Transcendence coming out from Jaehong, all that damage is blocked. You've got the self-destruct there for good measure, for safety amongst the collapsing heroes of the Gladiators. Void's going to try to tag the point. He has the remech, but there's no one else really to come in and follow up.
Bomb going to be used. He'll get back into the mech here on a high ground. Grab locking him off the point. Void now going to be jumping down. Transcendence does come through from Shaz to try to keep him topped up, but the focus fire from the Dynasty is just too damn good. That's going to be Decay going down now. Shaz joining him as the OT starts ticking away faster and faster. They get the pop out again, and it's going to be 100-0 start on University as Dynasty take the first round.
Decay wants to match the Zarya because the you know, if you go for McCree and you fail in that regard and your opponent gets a grab first, you lose the first point, you're so behind, you've practically given the map away in this meta. So as soon as he sees the enemy Zarya and he sees that it's not going to be a Reinhardt comp, or should be, you know, sees that it's not going to be a Reinhardt comp, yeah, that he decides to swap back. But that gives Seoul the first point, and they have defender's advantage, and Fitz utilizes that to get the better exchange in terms of Zarya ults. But it's just all downhill from there. It's tough, you know, to make a call like the Gladiators did, to go back and swap. There are consequences when you lock in the McCree first against the Zarya composition.
Well, here we go, City Center. Couldn't decide at all unless the Gladiators can tie things up. Fitz is going to be over onto that Sombra.
Swapping
for
again,
now.
just
scouting out.
Jaehong will do the same. Back to the Zarya. So will the Gladiators get control of the point first this time? That is the question as it unlocks in 7 seconds here. They're on it. And now Seoul has to approach to use their cooldowns to touch.
Decay up here onto the high ground. Not going to be having any energy yet. Taking a beating though. He'll get pushed up. Oh, instantly surging up to 70, but still 95 HP. Has to work his way back around the corner to keep himself safe. Dynasty fully entrenched at this point. Both squads, all members in onto the point as they look for the first cap. Fisher going to be jumping in deep, gets stunned up, but this time not going to get picked off. Doesn't manage to stay alive, and Jexay is just surging forward as far as the charge. Biggoose matching him. Sound barriers online for both sides. Sound barrier, triggers pulled first by Biggoose. Now Jexay matches. Jaehong and Shaz both with the Transcendences, so maybe The next support ults get ready to roll through. Gladiators nearly have the cap. It's going to be rallies out from both sides. Ward popping the primal rage. Goes up into the air, drops back down. Now Fisher going to be matching with one of his own. Checks it, however, finds the first kill. Shaz will be eliminated. Grab's going to be online on both sides. Neither invested yet. Gladiators have the point for now, but it's only 10%. It could be a very fast flip for Dynasty as the kills continue to come through.
Okay, they don't use the grab either. Fitz can hold on to this. This is massive. There were opportunities for him to use it. When Shaz was dead there was no transcendence, but they knew it was a one fight, and he gets to hold it now for the approach. Now, a lot of teams are trying to use this grab outside of the point in situations like this where the attacking team is coming in with the Transcendence to defend. It doesn't look like that's Seoul Dynasty's plan, at least not directly. Fitz rather wants to utilize the high ground for damage, try to force the Transcendence to come out early. You can see he's targeting Shaz. He's getting poked down here, but it's not enough damage to force the Trance.
I mean, Decay as well, just trying to really work this guy as much as they possibly can. Grab's going to be coming down straight here to the center. Just off the side. J-Hope nearly getting pumped. Just get that Transcendence off. The bomb from Michelle not going to be able to find any kills, but Void will be able to punish the Baby Diva. So going to be without one of the tanks here is the Seoul Dynasty, but Fisher is getting closer and closer to that next Primal Rage. Roar taking a beating, nearly eliminated. Primal's coming up for him as well. Shaz gets stunned, but not going to be able to find a kill yet. Fisher pushes forward, managed to find Hydration. Now it's going to be the Primal coming through. Shaz getting completely disconnected from the rest of his squad, and Fisher just stomps on him.
Yeah, you know, Roar's the new main tank of the Gladiators since Fisher's left. And it's crazy, you know, when you think about the history of these two players in Korea. Fisher is the, you know, older brother, so to speak, and he is winning this matchup right now. Roar's going to swap over to Rhine because he's hoping that they can hope to get a single kill, perhaps a charge kill, win the fight through that damage, that Reinhardt hammer damage, because they don't really have any other tools here, and they have no time left. 30 seconds, basically, 30% is all it's going to take.
Yeah. Here onto the low ground, all that verticality essentially gone. It's going to have to be Void trying to displace the members of Dynasty, but if he pushes up, Fitz is low enough energy that he's not going to melt him out of that mech, but still could do some serious damage. The energy building up, the grab goes ahead, locks him into the wall. Sound barrier is going to be coming in from Biggoose, but Shaz picked up before he can get the Transcendence online, 8% away. All the shielding going to be gone. Trying to get that pin, unable to find it. Jackson gets stunned up for the moment. The Transcendence comes in from Jae-Hong to keep him topped up. Jump into the back from Fisher with the Primal Rage, just knocking him around left and right. Hydration going to be taken out. And Fisher is just causing so much chaos for the Gladiators right now.
Grab goes off at least, but he's down, and there's just no way.
They do find it. A couple members over onto the point, desperately trying to keep things elongated for the rest of the squad to rejoin. Shaz finally coming back in. He's trying to keep Void in that mech. Squidorb really helps shred through that. We'll lose it in the end. Bomb coming down from Michelle just to zone him out. The OT will plummet, and Seoul Dynasty will kick things off with a 2-0 on Oasis.
Very impressive stuff here from the Dynasty. It really starts to feel like this squad has found their footing, and they look consistent. They look clean. Ever since the playoffs, you know, no one's wondering, is Seoul Dynasty a strong team anymore?
Yeah, they're looking pretty darn good. Let's see if the Gladiators can bounce back when we come back from Map 2.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Not nearly as close of a showing as we might have expected there from the Gladiators at the start on Oasis. Seoul Dynasty able to take it 2-0 in the end. One of the rounds 100-0. So very convincing start to this series for them.
I've always been impressed with, in this meta, how well Jaehong has been able to time his transcenses. That one was razor thin.
Yeah.
I mean, he was definitely down to 20 or less HP when he was able to hit it. He's successful in staying alive. We're seeing so much coordination out of this team that's seen changes. You know, we talk about the original Lunatic High roster that was brought over as the original Seoul Dynasty. This is not even close to that same roster, right? And so many new players this season as well coming through. They've added even 2 new players we haven't seen yet. And Dynasty just seems to be gelling with all of it right now. It took some time to really find their footing, but we're seeing it now. And Fisher is coming in as a great new leader to the team alongside Jaehong, the captain, you know, and one of the original founding members of Lunatic High, came over here as the original captain of the Seoul Dynasty. It's crazy to see, you know, just how dominant they can look in a series like this against a tough opponent in the Gladiators. No one really expected them to come out and look this dominant and win these maps this one-sided.
Things could change up a little bit. This was primarily 3-3, so something that the Dynasty is very used to playing. If things change up for the future maps, maybe they will struggle. But speaking of changing things up, we've got Shirkor coming in. After the loss there, Void going to be stepping away.
And this was, you know, this substitution we saw primarily yesterday versus the Dragons, you know, in terms of hit scan play, right? Shirkor was on the
Decay pushing in from the side. Everybody will be grouped up as that EMP. He's waiting for his moment. They do manage to scout him out. So goes ahead and peels back. Graviton Surge going to be coming through. That's going to be the Riptire. Rolls its way in. And Jaehong gets popped. Shore 4 will be traded out though. But with 2 members down, faster, closer respawn for sure for Dynasty. I don't think this is going to be it.
No, this isn't going to be it. And there's an EMP ready. There's configuration tank ready. And not even 1/3 of the point has been taken. Seoul's lost their Graviton. They have very few tools to make this work. Fisher's going to have to carry this, I think, with a nano boost on his back, maybe an immortality field. But the problem is he just doesn't have the ability to get on top of the Bastion, right? Because he doesn't have that verticality. He doesn't have that movement that the Winston does. And, you know, meanwhile, EMP could just put a halt to all of this.
Yeah, they still just haven't had to use that. They haven't had to use the tank. Dynasty going in for another approach.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of damage here for the Gladiators.
5 seconds remaining. I mean, Supercharger plus Amp.
If he hits Jexay, this push is dead in the water. Jexay's hiding in the corner. He can see him.
Fisher taking a bit of damage here. They haven't been able to scout Decay yet. Spamming off to the side now. Really starting to push his way up. Goes ahead. Catches all 6. Decay will still get popped, but here comes the tank. Jexay gone. Munchkin going to be eliminated as well. Cleanup time coming through. Now it's 40 seconds. Desperate measures for the Dynasty.
This is absolutely desperate measures here. You're certainly right about that. Only 2 ults used. They still have the Riptire. And there's just no way Dynasty, even with the ults they have, these are not the ults they need to break a point. The Immortality Field might be able to shut down the tire, but that's just one part of the defense here. War will be nigh immortal when the Nano Boost comes through. Could just be used on Surefour. So Dicey has to make this work somehow. The support ults could keep Fitz alive to get a Graviton. There are options, but they've got to make a decision fast.
Decay going to be sucked, but he manages to translocate out. They couldn't kill him in time. Now,
Riptire.
See, Sound Barrier coming in. Michelle getting melted down. Fisher going to get popped. No chance to use that Earth Shatter. Fitz going to be eliminated. Jaehong trades 1 back, but that's about as good as it's going to get. Take configuration. Ready to go short for trying to stay alive, but doesn't really matter. The team is already dead. He'll celebrate as he transforms into a tank. And they will go ahead and hold B. Well, the Gladiators, fantastic on this Paris defense.
Yeah. Seoul Dynasty making some interesting decisions in terms of nano boost targets there on the B attack. And it's, you know, a map where holding B, especially in this comp we've seen so many times, is rare to see a complete hold like that. But Seoul Dynasty just cannot crack the shield that is the Gladiators.
No, they cannot. Well, let's see what the Gladiators can get done on their attack when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Surefour here with the Bastion helping to secure that hold on point B of Paris, keeping the hopes alive of tying up this series.
All it's going to take is a solid attack, and we've got a tie series on our hands. Trevor comes through. You know, we talked about the flexibility he has in terms of DPS heroes you might want to run on this map, but he ends up just running the Bastion. And Seoul struggles to crack this defense, struggles to find an answer. And now on the defense, they'll do something a little bit unusual for this map and run the 3-3, the Winston variation here for Fisher. And the Gladiators will have an opportunity. The attackers have an advantage inherently in this because they can go check. Sure4 can go identify this, and then they can come back and alter their position to exactly what they want. This only tells me hydration on the Pharah is absolutely what they're going to be running here. And they have kind of already predicted Dynasty would do this. And we've seen a lot of success out of Pharah Widow on point A of Paris. Okay, looking for that swap though.
Yeah, not able to find it. Sure4's already got the translocator ready to go. It's going to be changing it up. Seems like, okay, a little bit of a variation. Sure4 showing us a Reaper.
Yep. And this is not, you know, when I saw Hydration go back to the Brigida, I thought, oh, I'm surprised they're going to match this composition, but it's not so. The Brigida can burst heal Sure4. He has lifesteal as well. He can break a tank very quickly.
So far, decent protection, though. Not much damage coming through onto Fisher as he played forward. Gets himself half of a primal rage, but Gladiators get themselves an inside track in onto A. Big heal tonight, however, coming through. Biggoose nearly taken down. Spamming coming out from Shaz, though. Does keep the Lucio alive. One tick nearly gained for free. Gladiators, though, they have to step off.
We all know what Jaehong is capable of on Ana, and he's about to have a nano boost here with Fisher having primal. There's so many ways to delay, and Sure4 just has not done the damage required. He hasn't been able to get into range to do it.
Well, this could be primal rage playground here for Fisher.
Nano.
Good trust trying to knock him off the back of the map, but Decay's going to go ahead, take down both of the supports. Jaehong and Jexe disappearing. Fisher not finding an opportunity to use this. Now it's going to be a grab coming in from Fitz, trying to lock him up as much as possible. Sure4 and Hydration both going to be taken down. So despite the healers not being available outside of Munchkin, maybe Dynasty can try to keep this hold going. Shadow's going to hit, though. Fisher
Roar's
melted.
turning this around.
And Roar does turn it around, as you say. Sound barrier will be used by Biggoose. They're not on it yet, but seems like Gladiators will be able to take A now.
This is kind of a big individual play from Decay. He's able to identify that Fisher's going in with a nano boost, but he's also not able to, in that moment, peel for the support line. So he goes in, high energy, finds Jaehong, finds, I believe it was Jexe who died with him, finds the supports in the back, regardless, and is able to take them out. Then the fight is, in the longer fight, going to go in their favor. Roar comes in with the Shatter, and it all just kind of falls apart. So nice, decision-making and identification here of Decay. Like, Fisher's going in with this nano, but he's not popping primal. He doesn't want to do it. You don't want to stack those ults together. So I have this opportunity. Even as a Zarya, you can kind of flank and find supports and kill them.
Well, still no Brigida here for the Dynasty as they try to hold this one off. A single tick is all that the Gladiators need. They have 5 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Munchkin spamming away. They try to keep Fisher alive. Munchkin getting jumped up from behind. Has to use that bio nade just to keep himself in the fight. Roar faking that pin. Fisher going to be taken down. Shaz gets himself a double kill with the Coalescence. Up into the air goes Michelle. But it's a bit too high. Can't contest the point. The Gladiators, they will make this a series. They tie us up 1-1.
Very impressive stuff here from the Gladiators. Nice individual plays. Very one-sided map for them. And momentum has definitely shifted back into their court.
That's what we're talking about. Maybe Dynasty's not ready for this hectic style. Tied up. Let's see what happens when he comes back after halftime.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
man Fisher is still unbeaten against all his former teams, but the LA Gladiators are trying to change that. After losing map 1, they clutch it up on map 2 to tie things up at 1-1 at the half. Welcome back, everybody. Malik here with Zoe and Bryn. Guys, Fisher is looking like he still has that chip on his shoulder from his former teams. Playing very well so far today. What do you guys think?
Oh man, he was handling them on that first map. It was all Fisher. He nearly didn't die, and he was just stomping all over them. It was actually
unreal.
It was unreal. I didn't expect it at all to go that way. Fisher versus Roar. Fisher definitely took the better end there. He had the most final blows, or rather fractional kills, from his own team, or I think in the entirety of the match on Oasis. Generally, they just look so well with each other. This Winston 3-3 is really up in his wheelhouse because, you know, we did kind of criticize him beforehand on his Reinhardt. He might be a little bit too aggressive. On Winston, he's allowed to do that, and his team actually supports him. And we can see clearly that he is getting the better end of the deal. Something we need to point out here is, of course, that the time played is a little bit different. We have a bigger sample size from Fisher as he stayed on that Winston a little bit longer.
Yeah.
However, final blow says it all. And, of course, also the average time to the ult. Like, Fisher definitely looked a lot better there.
His primal rage efficiency, like the 6 kills as well, like he is a masterclass player to watch when he's ulting on the Winston, because it's just fantastic to watch. It takes so much mechanical skill to be able to just work around that ability. You know, a lot of people don't realize it, but it's a lot of complex key presses to be able to control Winston, either if you want a short hop, if you want a long hop, whatever it is. So it takes a lot of game time to really master that. So I love watching good Winston players, man. It's so sick to see.
And just game sense in general. He always knows the right thing to do, whether it's just to space things out, just to finish a player off who's low on health.
It used to be a meme, like, you know, no aim, no brain, Winston main. But that's just not true at all, because you need a massive brain to play Winston. So there you go.
Players like Fisher did that whole term right there. All right, so let's move on to Paris map. We saw some of the specialists coming, like Short4 and Biggoose, really popping off on this map.
Yes, we really did. Paris, I think, is going to be one of these maps now that comes out, and it's kind of going to be a little bit like Junkertown in that some teams can take away results. So as you can see from the highlights here, I mean, the Gladiators, they had a clear plan coming into this entire thing. Again, we saw the bunker comp coming out from them. They were using Baptista's full potential as well. Immortality field is, in my opinion, like, it's ridiculous, you know, in terms of the value you can get out of an ability that's not even an ultimate. It's kind of crazy. But Seoul, we've really got to point out the fact that they were just playing with their brains turned off. Honestly, because they kept running triple tank, triple support, goats into this bunker comp. Like, you need to switch off and go onto a damage dealer.
Yeah, at the beginning, I thought they're doing the right thing. I saw them switching onto the Baptiste, but then they also switched off of the Zen. And so, okay, so you got a little bit more poke, but you really still don't have a poke comp. So they just couldn't break through. And I don't understand why they were so insistent on just not switching off when it's clearly not working.
I mean, it's like they're stuck in last stage where it's like, stay goat, stay goat, stay goat. Now it's like, I don't.
It's the one time you want to swap on it, you know? You want to play some damage dealers, set up like an attack coming in.
And they can't do it, so I'm not sure why they didn't just do it.
Bizarre, honestly, bizarre.
All right, so who are you guys giving the edge going into the second half? I mean, I feel like the first half was pretty even. You know, one team dominated the first map, one team dominated the second, but who are you giving the edge going in?
I feel like moving forward, I'm going to stick with the Gladiators with my prediction.
You better, bro. You hear the crowd? You better.
I can hear them. I'm trying to get out alive tonight. But yeah, I'm going to be sticking them. The match has been very close between these two teams so far. I think it is closely matched. Fisher is going to dominate on the maps where, you know, you can play the more Winston triple tank, triple support compositions. But moving forward, I mean, Gladiators, we know that they've got what it takes. Decay had some incredible moments popping off as well during this series. Yeah. I think realistically, 50-50 in my mind, but I am going to be sticking with the Gladiators.
All right, what about you, sir?
I mean, I'm sorry.
Be careful.
I don't want to come out of this arena on scratch. I'm going to stick with my initial prediction, Soul. But it's not a confident vote. It's not a very confident vote. I do think it's going to come back. Hey, don't be mean.
Speak your truth, Zoe. Don't apologize. Speak your truth.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to come down to what maps we're going to be seeing from those two teams and whether or not Soul can actually stick to their guns and play that Winston goats. So, yeah. We'll see.
All right. Well, we got the second half coming up, but that's going to do it for halftime. Now, Brigitte was the mainstay in Stage 1 meta, but there's a lot more to her than just holding down left click. We sat down with Hydration from the LA Gladiators to find out how to help shield bash your team to victory at home. This is Game Set, sponsored by Omen by HP.
Oh, but Hydration says, no way, man. This point is ours.
My name is João Pedro Goistelas. I go by Hydration, and I play for the LA Gladiators. Generally, the goal of the Brigida is to help your teammates, peel for your backline, or help keep your tanks alive. She's a very important character in a defensive playstyle and as well as an aggressive playstyle. With Brigida, the best way to maximize staying alive and keeping your passive going is playing between your front line and the back line, constantly going back and forth and making sure you get the Inspire going, and also making sure that you're not out of position where the enemy team can just rush you and eliminate you. When you need to get your Inspire going, but you're not close enough to the enemy team, a good way is to whip shot the stationary divas that'll be usually on like high ground or like taking an off angle, so you will almost always be able to hit them. For my settings, I like to have 240 Hz. You can see everything very clear. I try to have everything off, keep the reduced buffering on. I think it helps. I put 300 FPS. It's the highest option, and the more FPS the better. I like having low graphic settings with 75 render scale because that helps you achieve the most FPS you can get. For controls, I usually play with 7 sensitivity on 800 DPI. But this is my preferred crosshair. It's very simple. Some people don't really enjoy the red color because it's similar to the enemy outlines, but it works best for me because it's easy to see for me. One thing I like having on is the system clock. It tells you on the top right what time it is, so you don't lose track of time. One thing you really want to make sure you do with Brig is making sure you get the most out of your swipes. Like right now you see me just hitting one bot at a time. You can hit both of them if you're fast with your swings and you time it perfectly. It's a bit like rhythm and music. In the middle of fights, if people are close to ledges like this bot, one thing you can do is go for a stun and then reposition yourself before he can move, and then you can boop them off. Repair sensitivity, if you try to heal one of your teammates and the sensitivity is way too high, you'll end up healing someone you didn't mean to. This is what it looks like with at 100. There's like a small gap here and you can swap between. It's very unreliable if it's in the middle of a fast fight, you gotta heal them fast. If you have something more precise, a smaller number, which I prefer using 40, it's a lot easier to be more accurate with your heals, because the lower sensitivity, the lower of a circle there is around your bots. Repair sensitivity is a very important thing to really mess around with. Thank you for watching my episode of Game Set. I hope I helped you become a better Brigida player.
Hydration will make the difference. Hydration making his presence felt already. Hydration is just having a field day.
Welcome back from the halftime, ladies and gentlemen. We are tied up right now in this series. Gladiators able to take a pretty convincing victory there on Paris. Oasis going the way of the Seoul Dynasty, so that brings us to a 1-1 scoreline. One of these teams, though, going to be looking to take the lead as we get ready to move into hybrid for our third map.
As was pointed out by the analysts in the halftime show, I do feel like the preparation going into Paris was much better for the Gladiators. They had a clear plan, they had a clear strategy. It felt like Seoul was winging it a little bit. That's not obviously what was going on, but their strategy was definitely not optimal for dealing with a Bastion. The execution missed out there as well. So, in a lot of ways, some people are probably thinking this is going to reset as we head into map 3. Maybe we'll see more 3-3 out of the Seoul. Maybe they'll be able to catch back up. But remember, the momentum is definitely in the Gladiators' favor after such a one-sided match. We'll put Void, or rather they'll put, I'm not actually making these decisions.
Yeah, actually, Wolf is in charge of all substitutions. So take it up with him. Void coming in for sure for, so maybe this means that we're going to be leaning away from the bunker compositions with the Bastion play, since we will be seeing him come back through. So if this does start going back towards a 3-3 mirror matchup between these teams, maybe that favors Dynasty again based on what we saw on Oasis.
Yeah, and this is King's Row for our hybrid map, so, it's pretty tough to utilize Bastion on this map just because of the architecture of the map itself, especially when you talk about defending. There have been some crazy teams that would run Bastion on attack on the payload, pirate ship style, but for the defense, there's just not a really good way to set up where you're safe, and you can also maximize damage. You're exposed. If you're going to be able to do the damage, if you're safe, then you can't hit anybody. Coming in the corridor is it's just not possible with all the corners. So do expect to see more of the 3-3. Fisher will defend with the Winston here versus the Reinhardt, and this is no surprise. As the defender, you can do a lot with the Winston, and you can cycle between high and low ground, get that extra damage done with your leaps, and build a quick primal.
Okay, now joining in. Was looking for that initial shot with a Widowmaker, but just going to be swapping back over onto the Zarya. Fisher playing very far forward, gets a ton of charge for that primal range. But Gladiators, they rope their way around through the hotel and now make their way over onto the point where they nearly grab this first point. Fisher taking a bit of damage. Look at the sun him up, and he will go down. Decay scoops up the kill. We're playing up front, going to be killed as he tries to go in for a pin, though. So now both main tanks going to be eliminated. Gladiators, can they still get this point off the back of that loss?
It's all about the Zarya right now. Fitz is getting targeted.
That's going to be him going down. Michelle going to be knocked out of the mech as well. And it seems like Dynasty might just be getting cleaned up as Jexay will die. Jaehong is plus 40 onto the points. And kill me now, please. Let me just get the reset.
Yep. There's no way Fisher could tag this point, although he was, walking towards it. There's no way he's going to get in there and make any significant impact. So that was a really good realization by the Gladiators that when the tanks were down, that the Zarya matchup was going to determine who was going to take the win on that point fight. And it was Biggoose, actually, who had the speed boost coming forward there, and he was able to get the kill onto Fitz. So everyone was on the same page in terms of focusing Fitz down. And that's all it takes. We do have a nano boost here for Jaehong. Going to use it on Fisher.
That tosses one in as the Primal Rage gets ready to come out. As that pops, stunned up, but not that much focus fire, so still very healthy on the Winston, and Roar will be taken down to the front lines, unable to build up for that Earth Shadow. Fisher going to be traded back. Void coming up with the kill. Bombs out from Michelle. Will be able to pop Void out of the mech, but he'll go ahead and dump the self-destruct and get back in safely. Fisher now seeing his opportunity will be swapping over onto the Reinhardt to try to match. Will be further behind considerably when it comes down to that ult charge.
The problem is the card is still rolling here. These trades are not favorable for the defender when everyone is just continuing to push forward.
Yeah, that's going to be the sun coming in. Jexay locked up. Roar is fine. That, but hydration on the exchange.
Michelle, nice high ground positioning here. Almost takes Roar out. And that shield keeps him alive there.
They break the barrier right as he makes it to safety. So now it's going to be hugging around the corner, waiting for that to regen. Shatter online for him. Fisher, third of the way there.
For Fisher, he needs to be careful about overextending here. Biggoose could find him and isolate him from the rest of his squad. But he's looking for the corner hold here against the potential shatter from Roar.
Roar's pushing his way up, tries to make his way in behind the shield. Drops the hammer, but the bubble comes through from Fitz to keep himself safe. Roar's down to half. Fisher pushing forward with that nano boost. He's feeling saucy, but he's not going to overextend. He shows some restraint, but now the grab coming in long range. Catches the members of Seoul Dynasty a bit off guard, but Jexay is there with a sound barrier. Now the grab and response out from Fitz. Transcendence then from Chaz, but the heel deny coming out from Jae-Hong helps him pick up 3.
And finally, this will shift back into the Dynasty's favor here. They finally are able to take the cart control, and Jae-Hong is using all of his nano boosts on Fisher, be it the Winston or the Reinhardt, to let him come in and initiate these fights. Block was huge there on the Roar's Shatter attempt. And in terms of damage right now, Fisher is more than doubling his damage on the main tank role. But when you look at how that last fight went, it was just more patient play from Dynasty, going in for the grab that was used second there, and also the heal grenade, the heal deny, the bio grenade from Jae-Hong was so well placed.
Well, Fisher looking to play up around the corner. Turns around, drops the hammer, but the rockets from Void will be able to take him out. Now follow up over on a Munchkin. Void nets himself a double, and Jexay under fire. He'll get picked off by Shaz. Hart straight back into rolling. 2.5 minutes remaining as they get ready to move into B and pump up that time bank again.
Yeah, Fisher being extremely aggressive with how he's rolling forward to hit that potential shatter, and exposed himself by turning his back onto Void. So much extra damage to happen in that moment. And Jae-Hong just didn't have any way to save him. The nano boost wasn't ready yet for the burst heal. And now it's just going to be a beat cap.
And around the corner, that's going to be the grab coming through from Decay, and the kills just spilling forth in favor of the Gladiators. Do lose out on a Roar. Seems like it's just a matter of time before they can win out the fight. Sound barrier used as well by Biggoose to seal the deal on this push. But Decay, oh no! Oh, that's less than stellar for him. Michelle, though, as well going to be pooped into the pit.
Yeah, it won't matter too much at the end of the day, as the cart's still rolling. We're seeing all these nano boosts on the Fisher, but they're not getting much done. It's the bio grenades that are getting value from Jae-Hong. But I was going to say, yeah, it's time to switch over to the Zenyatta, because you need an answer for these Decay Graviton surges. And I don't know if he's going to be able to build one in time now. He's already behind in that ult charge. And this is a massive time bank that the Gladiators have to just grab this final point.
Yep, Transcendence ready for Shaz. Jae-Hong trying to build one up as quickly as he possibly can. 40% at the moment. One thing that they will have is going to be that sound barrier shortly. Grab's going to be coming in. Chaz goes forward. Bomb comes in, does clip Biggoose. So they managed to find 1+ Void's mech. Gladiators still playing far forward, but now with the loss of Roar, Hydration's just going to be jumping off the side. They'll go for a reset.
Now, this is honestly a life-saving self-destruct for Michelle. Without that, suddenly this fight could look completely different. And in the longer fight, they get the ults that are now shown on screen here, the support ults they need to hold off several more pushes from the LA Gladiators here. If they can make sure these Transcendences are used basically only to deny Decay's Graviton surges, and they already have this, and there is a way where they can hold. Nice play by Michelle to set this all up. You can see Jexay up on high looking for a knockoff. They're going to engage.
He's going to be out pushing forward. Fisher looking for another shatter, going dangerously low. Double digits. He tries to drop the hammer, but Shaz cuts him down, taking that one completely away from him. Now things start unraveling again for the Seoul Dynasty as the card continues to advance. Jexay hounded down, taken out by Hydration. The grab has him locked up. It's just going to be the Diva. It's just Michelle trying to keep the card contested here at the moment. A couple kills traded back as Shaz does get eliminated before he can get that Transcendence online. And Fisher gets a knockoff here onto the K. But is this going to be enough for them to stabilize? Michelle's going to get popped out. And Gladiators will not adhere. They will not back off. Biggoose has the sound barrier. He's going to slam it down to K, swapping over onto the Soldier so he can rejoin in. Biggoose wrapping back around, looking for these right clicks, just trying to dislodge them away from the cart long enough for it to advance. 2.7 meters left to go. Transcendence is out from Shaz. Pile driver coming in. It's not going to find too much. Michelle going in for another self-destruct. We'll have that one blocked out by Roar. Jexay has to get the heck out of there. He's just too darn low. Fisher pushes back through. Gets the adaptive shield to last a little bit longer, but they set him up. Void's going to be able to find the kill. Full-spawn going to be coming in, but it's taken away by Void. The D-Matrix perfectly timed by him. Completely denies it away from Munchkin. Very elongated fight. They're draining the clock as much as they possibly can. Void's going to be popping the bomb. Gets the knockout on a Michelle's mech again. Jexay so very low. Just try to stay in the back and push forward and contest this cart whenever possible.
Minefield's
going to be dropped in, but Roar's already too far forward. The sound barrier now comes out from Jexay. Another pile driver in. Fisher staying alive, but he falls off the map. But he's got the grapple. He's trying to make his way back in. Michelle, in the meantime, going to be the one contesting this one. Jexay gets the boop off on a Roar. Michelle's going to get popped out.
Can't believe it.
Visors coming out from Decay. He's trying to get it done. but the punch comes in. Fitz shuts him down. Hydration manages to find the kills. He swaps over to the Wrecking Ball himself. Gonna be swinging around, but we're gonna be going into overtime. This is an absolutely stunning defense from Seoul right at the finish line, trying to gate them out of this and deny the finish from the Los Angeles Gladiators. The Hydration's gonna be going down. They're shutting them out one after the other, and the Seoul Dynasty managed to hold on by a thread.
Fisher, the Revenant, again, the Wrecking Ball alone. He knows the changes to Wrecking Ball and the adaptive shield mean he can buy so much time. He uses the shield at the last possible second there, gets the maximum value, buys time for his teammates. Jaehong builds an Amp Matrix. What a crazy hold.
Absolute insanity. Let's see what happens in the next half when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Man, what a hold by the Seoul Dynasty. Los Angeles Gladiators going to be getting ready to try and defend here and see what they can get done. Biggoose here on your screen, of course, going to be joining the desk on a watch point after the game, so make sure you guys stay tuned once we wrap up this series. But it seems like it could take a little while longer, Wolf.
Sure.
This is definitely
It's a close one, man.
map 5 potential that we're seeing right now in this series. So Gladiators getting ready to get set up on this defense.
So for that last stagger, Fisher was able to do a lot of cool things. So Wrecking Ball was changed so that he can use adaptive shield while also still in ball form. So that's a huge buff. Fisher knows that's the best way he's going to defend. He sticks to the cart, then uses the minefield to prevent half of the Gladiators from touching and contesting. So a lot of really cool plays from Fisher that you could go back and watch and yourself in a breakdown. Meanwhile, though, it is going to be the Gladiators trying to run this Bastion defense here. Very tough to execute, like I was talking about before, because you're always exposed, and that's why Fitz is going to once again run the Genji to try to counteract this.
Going to be a shift around completely to the opposite side of the high ground here from the Gladiators. Hydration as well. To keep in mind, going to be spamming out these nades on the Junkrat. Does a ton of damage with the recent buffs. Fisher jumping forward, takes a lot of hits there from the Bastion, but is going to be safe. Jaehong
Fitz
losing out on that immortality field. Decay is going to be shredding his way through Jexay. Now Michelle. And one after the other, the Seoul Dynasty members going to be taken down. Drop here onto the low ground. We'll be able to get Fisher just before he can make it around the corner. So already, solid start for Gladiators.
Good play by Biggoose. His immortality field meant that Fitz couldn't actually get the dash resets he was looking for. Meanwhile, Jaehong behind enemy lines. But Fitz is going to have to make it work here, you have to think. Because this comp, it's great when your enemy has a low time bank, but this is just a starting push for Dynasty. But if they can't make this happen in 2 pushes and the Dragon Blade comes out and it doesn't work then we're looking at potentially a full hold here. So Jaehong is hiding. He wants to get a really nice immortality field here for Fitz.
Jumping up over the top. It's still going to get tagged up by Shaz. Throws it in. We'll hear that configuration tank coming through from Decay. First snipe. Going to be able to find Fisher.
Doesn't hit the mark. He doesn't get the immortality field where he wants it to make Fitz not only get the last part of the Dragon Blade, but also use it while being unkillable.
And it's just going to be a stagger here on a Michelle. Munchkin Translocating out. They know that he's behind the point. Closer towards B.
And right now, the Gladiators are showcasing they're very adept at this composition. They're constantly changing position from high to low ground in the middle of the fight, but also from left side here and then also to the center. Fitz has the Dragon Blade now, but he's going to want that Immortality Field. Once again, let's see if Jaehong can make it happen this time. He's going to want to launch it right on top of the team, and then he needs to go at that moment. It's easier said than done.
Okay, that's going to be the Amp Matrix coming through, but Decay going to take it down. Fitz managing to find the kill. Riptire running through from hydration. Needs this to be huge. Just managed to get the Genji shutting down that blade. Fisher now as well. Going to be taken down. Rez comes in from Jexay, putting the Genji back into the mix. Roar just sitting on the back of the point here, right in front of where that cart is going to spawn. Desperately trying to stay alive by himself. Pushing in and out of the barrier, trying to buy some time. Immortality Field not going to last. The barrier will absorb the blast from Michelle's self-destruct. Not going to be able to find a kill there. Mortality Field from Jaehong now going to be killed off. Munchin going to be taken down. They're actually turning this one around again. Hydration gets the kill onto the Genji, and Decay pushes forward.
The Gladiators are doing just such a good job of making Decay unkillable. It's just so hard for the Seoul Dynasty to get in there and actually get those dash resets for Fitz, or look to get the Dragon Blade to get the value he needs it to. Jaehong's going to switch off of the Batiste because the Immortality Fields he's trying to place at range are just simply being shut down too consistently. Fitz is working towards another Dragon Blade, and Jaehong can theoretically build a Nano Boost during this time, but it's a tall ask. It really is.
Void hacked out for the moment, but manages to get back up onto the high ground. One tick going to be gained for free for the Dynasty. Decay still spraying away, nearly takes down Jaehong. Fitz pushes up to the top, but they just wait. They stop all fire, making sure the deflection is not going to find anything, and now he's dead with that Dragon Blade ready to roll. Has to rejoin in quickly and hope that that blade pops.
They also better hope nobody gets staggered here. It's not going to happen. Again, repositioning is Decay. He's always in a different spot, but he's slept now. Okay. There's an opportunity. Fitz needs to get in there. It needs to get in there now.
Starting to work his way around the corner, but Decay will be able to wait back up. Blade's going to be coming through, trying to focus in on the Roar. Nearly taken down, but actually the bomb out from Void managed to find Munchkin. Push up over the top. Riptire shutting him down again. Biggoose will lose out on the Immortality Field, but doesn't even matter. Second tick getting ready to come through. Nano Boost thrown in onto Decay. He's going to be melting through this bubble.
Another sleep
dart gets the connection, but can they get the kill? No one pushing far enough forward yet. Second tick going to be grabbed. Dynasty Fisher finally managed to find the kill here onto the Bastion. They're taking their way up, nearly have the cap. It's going to be another Amp Field coming through. Immortality Field going to be gone. Michelle throws a bomb into the back. Manages to find Hydration. Biggoose going to be taken out. They get the cap. It's 2.5 minutes for the Seoul Dynasty, but remember how far they have to go.
Hydration with the huge Riptire there, shutting down Fitz. They were doing such a good job of ignoring the deflections, but it was Jaehong who comes in twice with 2 clutch sleep darts, the second one being the massive one. During the time in which Decay is slept, they don't kill him, but rather his teammates. They know the damage is gone. When the Bastion is down like that, and if they try to kill him and they fail, the Bastion does a massive amount of damage, so don't even give him the opportunity to wake, ignore him, kill everybody else, and by the time that Decay gets up, it's all over. He's all the damage they have, and it's shut down.
Jump into the back, primal range in from Fisher. He's going to be knocking him around. Jaehong taken out, but fight still going the way of the Dynasty for the moment, with Hydration completely locked up in a corner. Great juggling coming through from Fisher.
And this is looking better and better for the Seoul Dynasty by the second here, because the Gladiators can't run Bastion anymore. I mean, talking about how it's hard to run on A, they ran it very well, but now that we're into the streets phase, they have to match composition. And this is where the Seoul Dynasty squad has been winning consistently in this series, and what they've been winning with thus far most of Stage 1. Now heading into Stage 2, they're finding that same success.
Void up to the top, holding onto the bomb. Decay just going to be trying to get that grab as quickly as possible. Oh, Roar pushed into the front lines. Gets cut down very swiftly by Fitz, who nearly has a grab of his own online. Rally's going to be coming out from both sides. Hydration popping his last. Tries to stay alive. Shaz is going to be using that Transcendence, but Fitz grabs nearly there. Not going to have a support ultimate in time to block this one out if they use it on the fight. Jaehong just going to be spamming away. Transcendence still waiting for him. Void trying to make it back into the mech. Grav comes through. Bomb's going to be slammed down. Michelle gets himself a double kill. Roar and Void both eliminated. Now just 2.3 meters away. Dynasty will be able to roll through. Bump up the time bank just a little bit again.
There's a win condition here now for the Seoul Dynasty. Munchkin's rally that happened right before that last fight was what was able to keep everybody alive. Jaeyoung never felt the fear to use his Transcendence there. He gets to hold it now for Decay's grab. Shaz couldn't say the same because there wasn't a rally ready for him. He wasn't safe. He needed to trance early. So now Seoul Dynasty has the proper tools to take a fight here.
Looking in for that charge. Ward does manage to find Fisher, but he's got the Primal Rage up now to stay alive. Bombs coming in from Void, looking for the pick. Unable to find it. The Shatter coming down. Locks up Fitz next to the cart, but no one's able to find the kill. They chase forward, looking for Fisher, but the bubble comes down to protect himself as he works his way around the corner. Munchkin up at the front lines was left all on his lonesome. Will be taken down, and Fisher's not going to make it out alive. 1 minute and 8 seconds remaining. Dynasty, they have a little bit of time. They have a grab getting ready to come up from Fitz.
And that is exactly what they need. That grab that you just mentioned is quintessential for this to work. And he's going to have it. Cannot be eaten, and it has to be a big one. They have to capitalize on it. They need those kills. There's no answer to this right now. The rally is up, so they still have that armor, but that might not be enough. Fitz, high energy. This is their shot. This is their chance. It has to be now. This grab, make or break for Seoul.
He's got it ready to go. 100 energy. Starting to melt them down. Still holding on to the ultimate. Not feeling the moment yet. Chunked out. Grab going through over on the right side of the car. But no, it's only going to be locking up Roar. He gets a bubble. Now Fish is going to be taken down. This could be it for the Gladiators to take the lead. Jaxay eliminated as well. Now Fitz taken down by the Fire Strike. And with 20 seconds remaining, Dynasty, they got to do something drastic. They got to get a wrecking ball in here just to tag the cart.
Void's positioning made Fitz feel the pressure. He needed to send the grab to the edge, and he was hoping it would still pull them in. It didn't happen.
Sees Jaxay, locks him up solo. Totally worked for the ultimate. Bombs coming up from Michelle just to try to find a miracle pick. Fisher charging his way through. OT will be forced out, but Decay pushes straight in past the shield. He does not care about it. Fisher going to be taken out. Roar drops the hammer. The kills come through. Michelle on his lonesome, trying to keep this card contested. Jaxay joins in, but it's just not going to be enough. And the Gladiators set to take the lead here in the series 2-1 as they close out Kings Row.
Very well played by the Gladiators. Again, the very well-prepared Bastion strategy. Then swapping over to the Streets phase, winning out in ult trades. Good clutch team fights as well. Nice positioning there from Void, preventing Fitz from getting the grab he needed in the end. And they take the lead.
New Age strats punishing Seoul Dynasty. Let's see if they can tie us up and force a game 5 when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Man, what a Kings Row round that was. Dynasty with the wonderful defense on that Gladiators attack. But it's just, things got crazy.
I mean, they are just really clearly struggling to deal with Bastion, right? And, you know, you said it right before we jumped to the break. It's kind of like new meta versus the old right now in terms of defense. And Seoul has not yet been able to conquer these setups. And it happened with Surefour, it happened with Decay. And this is, I think, one of the big signs that it's not just about how great Surefour is or how great Decay is, but it's just that Seoul Dynasty hasn't yet prepared the proper response. And that's what, may cost them this series in the end. The sleep dart was good from Jaehong. I mean, that's what barely saved them on A. We might have not even seen the Streets phase had that not happened.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people predicting that the Gladiators coming into the stage were going to be one of the most well-prepared teams because they were having that surge in the second half of stage 1 because they'd had so much time after missing out on the playoffs to get prepared for this meta. Dynasty, not nearly as much prep time.
That's definitely true.
It's definitely showing that they need to sit down and figure some things out when it comes down to these bunker compositions.
While Seoul was prepping Michelle to hack Jonak in the playoffs, Gladiators were learning Batiste, they were learning Bastion, and they were playing to what would become the new meta. As we head into Gibraltar to start things off, it is going to be, for the most part, mirrored compositions with Munchkin actually on the Ana rather than the Brigitte. We've seen him do this quite a few times now. Just knowing there's no necessary stun required, and it's just going to be about heal denies here and nano boosts that have constantly been tossed into Fisher.
Trying to play around him. Roar up here onto the high ground. Zapping away where he can, but Munchkin gets a nice snipe on the Biggoose, taking him out.
Yeah, just overextended there a little bit.
He will be able to join in
rolling.
very quickly.
They're going to have to contest this if they want to get any value out of that Biggoose pick, because he's just going to be right back.
Yeah, that's about as far as they want to go without the Lucio. Now it's going to be trying to work Dynasty off of the high ground.
Yep. So Fisher is looking to, again, be aggressive, build up energy for Fitz, and then get nanoed from Munchkin once that's ready. And that basically makes him unkillable because he's going to have his primal right after that. That's the idea here with this setup on the Winston.
Both of them pretty darn close to those primal ranges. Dynasty going to be pushed back over towards A. Cart being brought up out of the underpass. More accessible spot for the Gladiators. Nano going to be thrown down by Munchkin, but Jexay already taken out. Great start for Hydration, finding that pick. Fisher just playing back around the cart, hops over the side, looking for Shaz. Does not have a Transcendence anymore. Will be taken down. Hydration hiding inside of the bubble. Will get focused out, gets a stun in on a Michelle's mech, but Fisher's there, scoops up the kill. Now just going to be smacking everybody around with the Primal Rage, and the Gladiators likely going to have to reset.
Be like Fisher. Fisher's an example. He sets an example for everyone. I mean, he played that nano boost very passively because he realized in that moment, I can't go deep because I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And he waits. He sees Shaz, and he takes actually the free kill rather than trying to get the big damage done, trying to be the carry. Then he primals later, getting more value out of that as well. Very good Winston player, one of the best.
Up over the top, Decay now gets the Graviton Surge online. Trying to build up some energy. That's going to be a very valuable bubble right there that he finds. Just breaking the Winston shield. Tracking Michelle, making sure that he's not going to get this blocked out by the D-Matrix now. Mech's going to be gone. Instantly throws that one down, but Jexay's ready for it. Has the sound barrier ready to roll. The grab's not going to lead to any kills. However, Cart will roll through into A in the meantime.
Yeah,
Gladiators is going to be moving into the hangar, trying to keep Soul behind them. Bomb thrown in deep by Void, not going to find a pick. Decay going lower and lower, gets a bubble up for a little bit longer, is trying to survive. It seems like he might just be able to do so. They're jumping on top of him. Another nano going to be thrown in onto Fisher. Got that Primal Rage ready to roll, but he's trying to save it for a dire moment. Decay gets Munchkin, but Fitz finds Decay. Michelle's gonna get popped up, Jaehong punished, but it seems like Gladiators still grinding against Seoul Dynasty will be able to keep the cart rolling.
It just feels like Seoul is just not, they're falling apart. They're not on the same page, and they're literally getting circles run around them by the Gladiators. Or, that's not how you say that sense, but the Gladiators are running circles around them, right? And they're just really struggling to find their footing in these chaotic fights, and all resources are being put on Fisher. When that goes poorly, Decay is able to find solo kills. He's killing whoever he wants. He's maintaining higher energy. And Fitz isn't getting the resources he needs to compete with that because everything is going into Fisher. As you can see, the bubble, the primal, it's all just their entire game plan is around this player.
Yep, straight into the back pit zone. Picking up a bit of the slack, manages to get rid of Shaz. Now Hydration going to be eliminated. So two of the supports, just Biggoose by himself. It's not enough to keep the rest of the team alive, so they'll try to exit. Void working his way upstairs, would love to not get staggered. It seems like he will be safe from that.
When it works, you know, it looks great. When Fisher's got the bubble on him, Fitz is getting that extra energy. You're seeing the primal come out and the kills come through. When it doesn't work is when the Gladiators are having a great time and, you know, it's very hit or miss here what we're seeing from Fisher, but you could see the clear plan is to commit everything to this Winston. He's got the Discord orb on him now.
Well, Primal Rage is out from Roar. Hydration got the rally rolling as they try to work their way back over to the cart. Jaehong is going to be using that Transcendence, but now the grab's going to be coming through. Decay matching as they lock them up. Members of the Seoul Dynasty, no legs to stand on, no support ultimates to speak of. Their legs swept out from underneath of them as Biggoose gets a nice right click. Double kill coming through, and the cart will advance over into B.
Now, once you don't have the Primal as Fisher and you're playing like this, you know, you're hoping, you could see it was at like 98%. You're hoping you're going to get it. You're going to play like you have it.
Ooh, Jaehong, yep, ran down.
But when you don't get it, you die. Now he's got the Primal, but he doesn't have it for the contest. Perhaps playing a little bit more conservatively might have been the play. And that's what we saw them do when we started this series out. And now it just feels like they've, like I said, they're falling apart and they've lost their focus. Roar's up here on the high ground. Gonna jump down, gonna engage.
Pushing forward aggressively here are the Gladiators. Decay trying to get that next online. I think a kill on the Fit's gonna be a good way to build it up, but Munchkin taking him down, not so much, not gonna work to their advantage. Primal Rage out from both of the Winstons. As they just try to look for some further kills. The cart's still advancing, getting closer for the Gladiators as they try to buy some extra space. About to round the final corner.
Yep.
But Dynasty push them back.
Hydration's about to have a rally, so there's almost no way that Shaz will be forced to use Trance. So they have the answer to Fitz's grab too. That's about to come online.
Yep, Decays as well. Jaehong will have his ready to go. Biggoose further behind, not yet having that sound barrier, whereas Jexay is ready to go.
They use the rally, but they can't keep pushing forward.
Grab's going to be coming out. Jaehong instantly pushing forward, stacking the ultimates on top of each other. Could this cause him in the long run? We're going to find out, but it looks like maybe not, because Michelle comes up with a double kill. Jaehong is able to snipe the enemy Lucio.
With the initiation that the Gladiators took, the Seoul Dynasty were able to react quickly. Counter grab comes in from Fitz later, and that's the moment where the Gladiators are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because they're losing a fight with Jaehong coming in with his Transcendence, and they can't escape either because Michelle has the explosive on the other side, the self-destruct, excuse me, on the other side. And, you know, it's a losing fight. A lot of time bought here for the Seoul Dynasty in that moment by Michelle.
Not able to fully commit up there onto the high ground. Roar just dropping back down, trying to poke out where he can to get that Primal. Now has it online. It's going to instantly use it. Trying to just knock around the members of the Dynasty. Fitz going to be ran down by Void. Gladiators make their way back over onto the cart. Michelle going to be cut off from the rest of the squad, and Munchkin going to be taken down, as is Jexay. Jaehong just sitting back with the Transcendence ready to roll.
Biggoose just looking for potentially locking one member up. Fisher's got the Primal. He's using these to engage rather than to survive most of the time.
Moving them back, Jaehong pops the Transcendence, moves his way over onto the cart. Sound barrier is set from Biggoose. Shaz now, Transcendence online. Fit's going to be melted down. Point finds a kill. Munchkin dead right as the rally comes in. They will be able to push it through.
Jexay's knocked off as well. Pretty crazy fight there in the end. I think the Gladiators have just kind of figured out there's two ways to beat Seoul. One's to play around this aggressive Winston, and the other is to use Bastion compositions, right? And they've done both extremely well, and Seoul's struggling to, I think, play a little bit more passively now on a map where they're playing the 3-3 mirror. Sure, it's Winston v. Winston rather than the Rhine v. Rhine. And Fisher is right now 1,000 damage ahead of Roar, but that's because he's playing more aggressively, he's playing more forward, he's getting the resources that Fitz isn't. And, you know, Decay, as a result, is getting a lot of solo kills. So, you know, this is not an over map by any means, but it's a decent time bank. It's 30 seconds plus for the Gladiators. And you could just feel that Seoul Dynasty is not playing as comfortable as they were before.
Yeah, 37 seconds on the finish for the Gladiators. Dynasty will have to see what they can manage here with their attack, and whether or not they can best it, let alone finish the map this time. Time will tell. So far, still just going to be showing that 3-3 at the start. Gladiators doing the same on the defense. Roar still holding on to the Winston. It's interesting from the Dynasty. Like we said, not that much time realistically to prep. You have to kind of question, you know, where has Fleta been this entire time when they're trying to run the matching strategies?
I mean,
in the previous maps.
It is a good question, you know, and perhaps Fitz is playing better when all the resources are going to Fisher, because Fleta's used to getting those resources. We are going to see, starting Michelle Symmetra here, this is a little bit crazy. Let's see if this works out. You can burn through a lot with this if you can get into position, but just gonna put Fitz onto the high ground here, and that's about it.
Yeah, lob some shots. Taking a little bit of damage here from the flank, but overall will be okay. Cart just slowly inching forward. Gladiators are playing this one out very patiently, not getting overzealous at all.
Fitz, by the way, is exactly 2,000 damage ahead of his counterpart in Decay. Just not able to get the kills. Decay is getting solo oftentimes because of the overextension.
Well, Munchin going to be taking a slide down the rocks as two of the supports from the Dynasty getting punished. The rest of the squad going to have to peel back over to the spawn, and they're trying to deny Fisher any type of exit, and he will not find one.
There's something a little bit weird about how Seoul is playing some of these pushes. You know, the Symmetra to get the high ground, sure, you know, I can see that, I can understand that. But then, you know, these attacks where they're leaving themselves vulnerable, they're getting cut in half by Gladiators. This is uncharacteristic of Seoul. And, you know, perhaps it's that Fitz, you know, is in instead of Fleta. Perhaps there's some communication issues. But look at this again. Fisher goes in. The bubble's on him before he even really is under fire.
Roar, though, isolates himself and just going to get punished. So major opening in favor of the Seoul Dynasty can finally start moving that cart through the underpass.
They need to capitalize on this now. Fitz is ahead in grab, too.
Shell pushing his way forward onto the high ground, gets that Discord Orb, will peel back.
This could be an opportunity to get this grab fight here and take A with a massive time bank. Fitz is 10% away. Shaz has the trance, but they can try to bait this out with this Primal.
Yep, Primal now coming in. Transcendence will be used by Shaz. Stacking the ultimates here are the Gladiators. Soundberry used by Biggoose.
And grabs up.
Grab is up. Will be thrown down. Decay will be the first one to fall. Multiple kills now coming in. Roar trading one back on the J-Hunk. Gets two onto Fitz. But it's not going to be enough to maintain control of this cart. The rest of the squad is going to be taken down. That's going to be Ake. Getting ready to come through for the Seoul Dynasty. Void.
Interesting choice there. They were hoping for a recontest. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's...
But look, I mean, I actually have to really say, like, there's nothing Shaz could have done in this moment. This is the first time Seoul gets an advantage, and it's like a snap of the fingers. They go in, use the, you know, Primal onto Fisher. He goes in, forces the trance, then they have the grab right afterwards. You know, what a moment. And I think Biggoose was probably trying to save Shaz's trance, but there was a miscommunication moment. They both use support ults at the same time.
There's clearly a couple disconnects right there with Void also using the self-destruct.
Yeah.
So.
And you know, that's the moment where Biggoose is like, oh, wait, don't use your trance. I got you, man. But they both use their ultimates, and then suddenly Fitz is like, well, this is the best grab ever. Nicely done by Seoul.
Well, speaking of grabs, straight in on top of Michelle, right on the dome. Transcendence is out from J-Hong, however, to keep everybody alive. Still just playing in and around the cart. Fisher's got another Primal Rage ready to roll. Soundberry out from Jekse. Roar going low with his Primal. Will get stunned up by Munchkin, and they take him out. The cart will continue to breeze through the hangar.
Yeah, this is actually a great push for the Dynasty right now. And they still hold that ult lead. For the Gladiators here, you know, they hold a Transcendence now finally, but it's not where it needs to be. You know, this is not... By the time he uses it, if he's using it for Fitz's grab, he could have built another one, right? That's the weird disconnect where they have this advantage that isn't useful against what Seoul Dynasty has. Fisher's going to drop down.
Yep, might just have to use it again if Fisher gets a Primal Rage in a corner on a Shaz.
Yep.
And it's just what he's looking for. Let's get stunned up. You get a considerable amount of damage here. They try to melt him down. Transcendence will be used. Fitz going to have the grab at 16%. Get the corner onto Hydration. They take him out. Decay falling just before that. And Dynasty continue to look pretty darn good here on this push. Fisher barely managing to stay alive, jumps back over. Now J-Hong gonna have that Transcendence ready to go. Grab comes out, they lock up the supports, they eliminate him, and Roar on his lonesome will be taken down. And the Dynasty will go ahead, bump themselves up, 3:40 on the clock.
We're seeing Hydration hit these stuns onto Fisher, but once the stun wears off, Fisher is just, I mean, he's still gonna get in there, he's still gonna get on top of Shaz. Shaz is struggling to stay alive in these moments. You know, he had such a great series yesterday, but against this completely different play style versus Fisher, you know, sometimes you have to trance, because if you die, the result is the same. Grab's still going to hit your team, and there's no trance.
They'll jump into the back. They do manage to find Fitz. Like, maybe they were going to be able to keep him alive with the help of the Zarya bubble and some extra healing, but was not enough. So good focus fire from the Gladiators, but Primal Rage is going to be gone.
Step one towards catching up in the ult economy for the Gladiators, getting that pick. Roar is going to swap over to Reinhardt. Interesting choice here. To make it a little bit tougher for Fisher to primal his way in. because he could be just charged and stunned.
Or
He's
he'll
dead.
just get popped. Rockets from Void, looking pretty good.
That's one way.
Let's go ahead and snatch him up. And we'll pop Michelle out of that mech and likely just leave him to his own devices. See if they kill him off. They will. Okay, Roar, he wants to charge.
Nope. No. Decay's going to have the Graviton. And this is one, thing that Seoul has to be worried about, but there are others in terms of how they're playing. You know, they're hoping Fisher's going to jump in here and get another Primal and bait out the Shaz Transcendence. We're a ways away from Fitz's Graviton because he was picked, so everything's kind of messed up in terms of ult economy because of that one single kill.
A lot of ultimates on the way for Seoul Dynasty. Big Six nearly snagged here. Fisher jumping into the back, gets a primal range, pops that one immediately, gets stunned up for the moment, now jumps his way over into the grab. Bombs coming up, looking for the picks. Sound barrier helping keep him alive, as well as the shields up. Shatter looking for the hit there. Sounds like Roar not going to be able to get too much from that one. Hydration gets focused down by Fitz, who's still holding onto the grab. Finally goes ahead, throws this one down, catching two here onto the cart, and they instantly get dropped. Void gonna get knocked out of the mech, and the K can't make it back over to the spawn room. So with 1 minute and 40 remaining, Seoul Dynasty rounding the final corner on that final stretch here.
Very, very close to getting a better time bank here. There's no real ultimates to delay. They may actually just be stuck in the spawn. They do get out. Nice charge.
Yep. Their way here onto the point, but Decay absolutely focused down. Fitz with a higher energy. Just melts through him, hot knife through butter, as they say. Roar is well focused. There's just no one that's able to stand a chance. The bomb comes down in celebration. We will be moving into overtime on Gibraltar.
Very well played by Seoul and Fisher, getting a slightly better time bank. Fisher is changing what it means to Primal. Usually uses a survival tactic, not in this case. He's going in, he's forcing Transcendences, he's empowering Fitz.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see if it's going to be tied up when we come back for OT. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A minute on the clock for the Gladiators, 1 minute and 34 seconds for the Dynasty. So very tight knit. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this deny on the Shatter. Roar trying to drop the hammer, but the shield bash comes through. Clutch plays here from Munchkin.
That's all happening while Fisher is forcing another trance to be used from Shaz. Now this is a very small time bank for the LA Gladiators on the attack, but they pushed the cart very efficiently last time because even though Seoul was getting kills, they weren't actually stopping the cart from rolling. They're going to have to change that here, or the 34 seconds advantage won't mean much for the Dynasty. Once again, Fisher's just looking for that Primal early.
And playing low around the corner. Munchkin taking a bit of damage. Is back over onto the Ana.
Big bio from Munchkin.
Yep, good hits coming through. Stops Gladiators from advancing as a unit, but they still did have Roar bringing the cart up through the underpass. So half the time, going to be exhausted. A little bit over halfway towards point A. Bionade going to be thrown in, not finding any connections onto the members of the Gladiators, so still going to be healthy, still going to be safe.
Yeah.
Play forward.
All right.
Heart slowed down now.
Yeah, this is really rough for the Gladiators. You know, there's no real way to kill someone. They're going to look for Munchkin.
Yeah, jump up over the top. Roar takes a ton of damage.
Bio hits all six. All six hit.
Man, everybody's got to play back. 3 seconds remaining. Void does manage to push for to force out the OT. Is trying to wait for everybody to get topped up. Now they will rejoin in as a squad. Roar pushed back away from the high ground, trying to sit into the bubble to stay safe. Transcendence comes out from Chaz. He goes back up over the top, just poking out where he can. Fisher's got the Primal online. Roar is still 35% away, and Void nearly gets melted out of the mech, and now it's going to happen. Grab going to be coming through immediately, locks up the rest of the tanks. They'll get punished. Sound barrier a bit too late from Biggoose to keep Roar in the fight. Answering Grab comes in. J-Honk's ready with the Transcendence. Biggoose trying to keep the cart contested. Gets Rosaria bubbled. Stay alive for a little bit longer, but there's so much damage coming up from Fitz. They will be able to find the hold here. No A for Gladiators. A chance of tying this up and forcing a map 5. Very realistic for the Dynasty.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just again and again and again. we're seeing Fitz hit these grabs when Shaz doesn't have Transcendence because they're forcing these so early on. That 6-hit Bio Grenade from Munchkin as well bought a lot of time and gave a huge positional advantage to the Dynasty, because if the Gladiators try to engage with no healing, they will absolutely lose that fight. But because they stay inside, like you were saying, staying back, so they don't lose those members, that's when Seoul Dynasty gets a massive positional advantage. You get Fisher with the Primal again. And they have really just hit this ride after a rocky start on Gibraltar here around Fisher and these, you know, very fast grabs that come out when there's no trance because it's been forced earlier. You know, it might seem simple, you know, at home, if you're watching this, you might be thinking, well, why doesn't Shaz just not use it then, you know, die and then come back with it? If he dies, then Fitz grabs in that moment, because if you're dead, you can't trance either. So it's kind of a catch-22 situation. They're hoping to turn these fights around, you know, in this moment with the Transcendence, but it's not happening. This Fisher is nigh unkillable because he's got the Primal, and then he's got the Nano Boost. So it's tough.
Oh, this could be it.
Yeah, now they're going to have an incredible hold.
And remember, Fisher has never lost to his former teams.
Never happened.
Gladiators can pull off this hold. They will be the first ones to shut him down with this iteration of the squad. Dynasty, steady as she goes. Munchkin still playing with the Ana. Jump up to the top. Fisher, boop back. Gonna be safe as we start moving into the underpass.
They're going to have to come down here and contest, because this cart only has to roll just the top of the underpass here, to the side of the half-pipe-esque spot down here that's called the car wash oftentimes. Michelle just solo pushing this as Fisher's looking for opportunities.
Yep, doesn't have to go too far. Boyd just keeping the cart contested. Now going to be joining back up, but Biggoose taken down. He'll deny on a hydration as well, but seems like he'll be able to survive for a little bit longer. Decay drops down, trying desperately to build up for a grab, but just doesn't have any energy. He's trying to get it. Only 16 gained, both bubbles used. Chaz now Roar going to be taken down. Seoul Dynasty, they want that map 5. They want the victory in the end.
It looks like they're going to get it.
He's coming back.
He's coming back. Decay's pushed off. There's no way to stop this. Absolutely none. And Fitz is about to have a grab. Not that he needs it.
I mean, Roar swapped over onto a Reinhardt, but he's not even going to be able to tag in. Hydration and Decay both taken down, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. No better way to close out the night than with a Game 5 between these two squads. It has been tight-knit throughout, trading back and forth on the wins. Dynasty, they get Gibraltar. Let's see who takes the series when we come back. here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Map 5 to see if the Revenant rings true, if Fisher can continue his dominance against his former teams, or if this iteration of the Gladiators can be the first one to take them down.
Very much close here. You can see it happened twice before versus London in Stage 3, Week 4, and then the 4th week of Stage 4, where it was pushed to the 5th map. This will be the 3rd time that happened. So he's got a 2-0 track record of winning final games versus his old teams as we head to Lijiang Tower for our tiebreaker map here. It's a map that is usually dominated by 3-3, but we have seen a few variations of different compositions as of late with Roadhog. We've seen Soldier 76. So there are ways that we could break away from that. And I fear for the Gladiators that once again we'll just see Fisher terrorize Shaz with all the support he's given. And Fitz is just, meanwhile, his whole job is to build a Graviton. Once there's no trance, that's all he has to do. And that's been the whole idea. And it's, you know, we have this storyline of Fisher defeating his old teams, but in this matchup, it is really all about him because that is exactly how Seoul Dynasty is playing this.
All right, well, Dynasty going to be using Fitz on the Sombra. Decay still sticking through.
Just a scout.
Yeah, swap. Okay, will be just a scout, as you said. So here we go. Shots coming across the bridge. Going to be a back approach for the Dynasty. Snapping their way around.
Going to be, you know, Gladiators with the positional advantage here because they didn't have to swap like that.
Yeah, Jexay taking a lot of damage actually on that approach. Knocked down below half HP. Shad's just going to be spamming away. We're going to get dropped in. Has the Discord Orb in on the Jexay as he rides up along the walls, but Void is going to be losing out on the mech. First and foremost here at the start of this round. Jump into the back. Fisher going to be zapping away. Guess that Zarya Bud will stay alive for a little bit longer, and Decay is going to be taken down now. Biggoose, so great start for the Seoul Dynasty. Remember how things looked on Oasis?
Yeah. This is not how you want to start a fight, is to lose your Zarya. Decay was playing aggressively forward. Look at his ult charge versus Fitz. You can see the playstyle difference here. Decay is aggressive. Fitz usually plays more passively. And when you see this, you know, grab that's ready for Decay, it's exciting if he is able to get the point. Then he can defend with it. But on the attack here, when Jaehyung already has Trance, it doesn't even feel like that great of a resource. It's hard to make a play with this.
Well, so far just going to be 30% built up. Grab now online. Roar taking so much damage, tries to jump out of there. Graviton Surge will be coming through, but Fisher with the primal rage manages to find Biggoose. So already 2 members gone on the back of that grab from Decay. Things just catastrophic at the moment for the Gladiators.
Now, Fisher commits the primal, though. So, you know, he's not going to be able to terrorize Shaz with that. And there is no nano boost with Jaehyung on this Zenyatta. So you have to imagine this time Shaz will get his chance to at least nullify the Graviton Surge. And maybe they can flip the point with the double support ults they have. Jaehyung doesn't have his. So in the longer fight, there's more healing, there's more survivability for the Gladiators.
Fisher getting nearly melted down there, does manage to stay alive. Primal Rage is going to be out for Roar, but the grab comes in from Fitz, just locking him up. High energy on this Zarya, trying to focus fire him, but unable to find the kill. The shell buys a little bit of space with the bomb, but Jexay is going to be taken down before he can use the sound barrier. Likely not in a good enough position. Might have just been a solo ult had he committed it there, so we'll just be saving it for the reapproach. Gladiators get a flip, 79% to Seoul.
I think the idea behind Fitz using the grab there in that particular moment was to lock down Roar, so it wasn't going to get much out of the Primal Rage, but it didn't work. It backfired, and now the Gladiators have the support ult advantage still, and there's a lot of ways to, you know, delay here for them right now while they know the grab is offline. Hydration just waiting for the stun on Fisher because he has been leading the charge every time.
Very fast reapproach here for Dynasty, not wasting any time. Jump into the back, Roar, trying to build up. Fisher about to have that primal online. It's going to be the sound barrier and the Transcendence used by Dynasty simultaneously. Grab comes in. That's going to be the Gladiators winning the fight. 4 members gone.
This is the fight you expect the Gladiators to take, though, with the edge they had in the grabs. And Fisher has Primal, right? This is what, you know, we were talking about just moments ago, is Fisher didn't have the Primal to force out the Trance from Shaz, so that wasn't going to be an issue. But now that he's got it, and Fitz is going to be able to build a grab in this fight, can he force the Transcendence? That's what he's been doing all series long.
And jump onto the back there. Just trying to find a pick on the Jaehyung. Unable to find him, but Jexay taking down Shaz. Sniping out again.
Off hydration.
Fisher with that primal, trying to get a knockoff, but actually just sends him to safety. Hydration sails across back over to the point.
Hydration with the shield bash to get across. Well played, but Void's demeched.
Do manage to find one pick, but is that going to be enough to transition into a cap?
Shaz still has the Transcendence.
Goes ahead, throws this one in. Transcendence comes out from Shaz, as you say. Munchkin playing very far forward, trying to find a pick, trying to set up. At the back of that, but Jexay gets picked again. Taken down. Now Fisher going to be gone. Jaehong about to have a Transcendence online, but he might have to use it just to delay and force OT, but he's not going to get the chance.
This is looking really good for the Gladiators. There's just no way to really get on this point. Fisher's going to try it again with the Wrecking Ball, but he's so far away.
Shell popped out, uses the self-destruct, but can't make it back into the back. They finish off the Baby Diva Decay, scooping up the kill. He's nearly got another grab online. Fisher trying to stay alive as he rolls around the top of the point, but will get taken down. Grab about to be up, Jexay dead. Jaehong pushing forward with the Transcendence up. Grab comes in, it's gonna lock him up right outside. Can anyone get there? The answer's gonna be no. Gladiators, they take the first round of Lijiang Tower.
Home crowd here is loving it as well. And I gotta say, we're seeing a lot better control of Fisher by Hydration. He's lurking around corners, he's expecting Fisher to come in, he's baiting him in. You know, he had that shield bash across the edge to survive during Primal. He's just really limiting what Fisher can do in a lot of these ways. Not to mention that Shaz is also playing a little bit further back. He's not putting himself in these vulnerable situations. There's adaptation here on the side of the LA Gladiators. They are certainly starting to deal with this style a lot better. And now we're looking at Control Tower where it's Ryan versus Ryan, so that isn't even a factor here. This is how I think the Gladiators close this series out, is to win this one, win it 2-0. Don't even go to that final map.
This could be it. You're the home crowd here chanting for the Gladiators. Dynasty, though, could use some support. Fisher as well could certainly use some. But he's not going to get it in time. Taken down as is Fitz. And that will be Gladiators netting themselves the initial cap.
And this is so huge on Lijiang. When you have this first cap, you have the control of the point, but more importantly, the control of the choke, where Seoul Dynasty has to approach. They can only take 2 paths, and that's assuming they get through the smaller choke. And it's very easy for the Gladiators to do massive damage before they can really start to touch the point. As you can see here, look at all the damage coming through from Decay on the right clicks. Seoul Dynasty can't really punish. They can't really outplay it. Fisher's going to have to use his shield to touch the point. And here comes the attack. Speed boost up.
Pushing their way forward, stunning on the Hydration. Will get cut down, Fisher. Able to swing and find the kill. Shatter about to be online for him. Rallies out from Munchkin as soon as he gets it ready to go. Jaehong taking a lot of damage, but doesn't pop the Transcendence in desperation. Shows some restraint, knows his limits, and holds on to it. Shaz spamming out where he can, but Fitz comes up with a double. Void's going to be taken down. The flip comes in. Only 38% gain for the Gladiators so far.
Very risky attack from the Dynasty, the way they used that speed boost there, but they were just not willing to give Decay a grab and positional advantage on this map. They knew they had to take a risk. They knew they needed to win that fight. They did. And now this is a very even map right now. When you see the attack come through here, the Gladiators have a lot of ults, but using them against the support ultimates of Dynasty is the tough part. Look at how far back Seoul Dynasty is playing. They do not want to get caught in a grab.
They start inching their way forward. It's going to be the grab coming through. Transcendence is out from Shaz. Looking for the pin. Fisher does isolate Roar. They manage to take him down. Now I'm not going to have that Earth Shadow. The rest of the Gladiators trying to peel back. Seems like no one else going to be taken down. No staggers to be found.
This tank matchup is so close right now. And between these two, you know, Roar's the new member of the Gladiators. He wasn't a former teammate of Fisher's, but they both did play for Kongdu Panthera. They're both the main tank for that squad in different eras. Fisher's still holding this shatter. He wants to wait for a mistake from Roar.
Well, bomb to open things, Void. Just throwing it into the back, not able to find any picks. Sound barrier used from the side of the Dynasty. Matched by Biggoose. Grab coming through. Jaehong has a Transcendence, but it's not enough to keep Fisher alive. Now Munchkin going to be taken down. Gladiators, this could be their chance to get the flip. Just have to finish off Michelle. And Jexay seems fairly easy now. The front line has been broken.
Critically, Shaz is going to have a Transcendence, because if he didn't, Seoul would be poised to take this round and force a third round, because there would just be no way to deal with the incoming Transcendence. Fisher, he's been doing such a good job of preventing Shaz from hitting these trances on Winston, but on Reinhardt, you're just not able to do that. You're not able to close the distance. You're not able to do that damage unless you can get a flanking shatter. Too predictable. He's up at the front, though. He's trying to make something happen.
Oh, Decay taking a ton of damage there in the front. Fisher as well, going so very low. Now Roar trying to stay alive. Shaz doesn't want to have to use a Transcendence. Biggoose! This kind of damage, but no, Biggoose going to be taken down. Now the Shadow comes in. Hydration going to get picked off. Dynasty looking for the flip back, and they are going to have it. 72-72 at the moment. The flip going to be coming through. Gladiators still do have a chance to fight this one out, but it's really going to be on the back.
Now
Just
they have a choice. Do they take the fight to the Gladiators in the choke point, or do they try to fight on the point, the healing ultimates that they'll have in the longer fight?
They're playing forward.
They're playing forward. They want to use this grab. They want to stop them from really touching the point. Get an opening pick. They back off, though.
Was just poking out. Ult's getting ready to come in for the Gladiators, but they need to nail him. Transcendence up on either side. Both. That's going to be the 8 point. He takes it away. Could that just be it? They push around the side. Michelle throws in the bomb. He's looking for some picks, but he's not going to be able to find anything. 99% right now for the Seoul Dynasty. Gladiators desperately need to get this flip. Fisher taking so much damage on the flank. Pushing straight into his front. Jaehong still holding on to the Transcendence. Now going to be popping it. The bomb's going to be coming through on the back of the Graviton Surge. Can he get the picks? Might get the triple kill. He might just do it. Flip coming in. Dynasty still have an opportunity to fight this one out. 20% left.
They don't have the
Gladiators,
tools.
can they do this?
They don't have the tools they need. The stagger on Michelle means they'll have even less time. Void with 2 major plays. The worst thing they could have dealt with was a grab. He is able to absorb that, and in a potentially lost fight, gets the angle on that bomb. Seoul Dynasty, Fisher, he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to be the Revenant if he wants to keep that record alive. He's got the Shatter.
You also have the sound barrier. Jexage is going to be opening up with that one. The Shatter coming down.
Shatter,
Not going to be able to find anything. Fisher not able to get it on the pin. Not going to find the connection. Fisher going lower and lower. He's going to get finished off. Michelle Smith popped into the back. The grab comes in from Decay. The Gladiators, the OT taken away. Shatter just for fun. Jexage will get finished off. That's a team wipe. That's the victory. The Gladiators, they finally shut him down. Fisher cannot get the victory against this squad.
Longtime teammate Void is the one to make it happen. They played together since the very beginning of Kongdu Panthera. They joined into Gladiators, and then Fisher moved on. But this will be the first time he does not defeat his former team. The record is broken, and Gladiators going to take the lead in the standings here. 5-4. It was a tense series. Shaz under immense pressure, non-stop from Fisher. All the resources went into one of our most famous main tanks in the league, but he is stopped in the end. Very impressive stuff on both sides. This was a series we thought was going to be a good one, but I don't think anyone expected it to be this close.
I mean, absolutely stellar. The home crowd's been going crazy the entire time for the Gladiators. And they will be able to get that victory. Like I said, Valiant falling short for the LA crowd, but the Gladiators come out on top. They get the victory here all the way in map 5, going the distance. Man, what a series.
Really crazy stuff. I mean, the Gladiators had to deal with a lot of different styles from Seoul. They came in prepared with the Bastion strategies as well. I mean, it looked like for a moment there that there was just no way Seoul could come back. There was no way we could go to a game 5. And Fisher made it happen. Adaptation happens in the final map. What a series. What a series.
Just absolutely bonkers. Great stuff. Let's figure out who our player of the match is, though. That's going to be a bit of a difficult one. Omen by HP presenting, as always. It's going to be Decay again.
Decay, you know, I have to agree with this one, too, because in a lot of these really close maps, when you look at King's Row in particular, when you look at some of the parts of Gibraltar there, he was getting these solo kills, he was making these picks happen. And then when he ran into the Bastion here, you know, we just saw Surefour play previously, he positioned himself in multiple different places, was non-stop getting the damage needed, good timings on the configuration tank. So showcasing multiple heroes here, and back-to-back player of the match, absolutely deserved here for one of the most hyped players that we saw coming from Korea, coming into the 2019 season. And he is pushing the Gladiators up and up week by week in the standings.
It's been a really great debut for Decay throughout stage 1 now into stage 2. A 2-0 start for them in the second stage of the 2019 season. So trending upward right now is the Gladiators, but I can't wait to see more from both of these teams. Will we see Fleta in the next Dynasty series? Who really knows what's going on there, but absolutely crazy plays from both squads. Just leads to a closeout on a fantastic day of Overwatch. Guys, thank you so much for staying with us for the games. But of course, we have the Watch Point post show coming up next, and we have Biggoose fresh off that victory on the desk. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you guys next time.
Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.